Hello everyone! I'm AYANA, a Vtuber. Today we'll explain how to create a composition. Let's begin. Let's start. A composition is a container where you can layer multiple files together to create a file known as a composite. This is the first thing you need to create when you want to create a video using After Effects. Each composition has a timeline where you can set the resolution, frame rate, video length, etc. Let's create it now. You can create a composition from the available files, or you can create an empty composition from scratch. When creating a composition using existing files, the resolution, frame rate, and length of the files themselves are automatically determined. However, when you create a composition from scratch, you can set the resolution, frame rate, and length yourself. First, let's create a composition using existing files. Drag and drop the files onto the Create a New Composition button at the bottom of the project panel. The project panel will display the newly created composition. The project panel displays not only the files, but also the composition. This composition is made using the files that are just dragged and dropped. Let's try checking the frame rate and duration. It can be seen that the frame rate and length of the composition are the same as the frame rate and length of the material. The timeline of the created composition is displayed on the Timeline panel. A layer of the file you just dragged and dropped is created. The Composition panel allows you to preview the contents of the composition. If you want to create an empty composition, click the Create a New Composition. When the Composition Settings box appears, set the resolution, frame rate, length of time, etc. for the composition. Here's the difference between the Composition panel, the Footage panel, and the Layer panel. These three are often confused because they appear in the same position as separate tabs. When you double-click on the file in the Project panel, the Footage panel will appear. This is a panel used to preview the files themselves. The top tab of the Footage panel is called Footage. The timeline of the files themselves are displayed at the bottom of the Footage panel. To open the panel layer, double-click the File layer in the Timeline panel. The panel allows us to preview the layer. Similar to the Footage panel, the top tab will read Layer. The timeline of the layer itself is displayed at the bottom, just like in the Footage panel. In the Composition panel, you can preview the contents of the composition as described earlier. On the top tab is written Composition, so you can distinguish it from the Footage panels and Layer panels. Note that the timeline of the composition is displayed in the Timeline panel, not in the Composition panel. This concludes the explanation on how to create a composition. How is everyone doing? Did you understand today's lecture? If you found today's lecture useful, please subscribe. If you have any requests, please let us know in the comments below. See you again for the next lecture. See you soon. Bye-bye.